Yeah, I have been avoiding blues because it's what I usually tend to do. So I've been trying to make myself do other things. I do a lot of purples too. You can't tell that, I know, but that's what I do a lot of. All right, so tonight's block is the Jewelbox. A very fun block right here. And see how it just really stands out by the way you put it together? Now I had showed you the last time we were together the same block where I did it, where I didn't emphasize one color. But the true Jewelbox is like this, where you see those designs really stand out. So let's get started on that right away. And I hope we don't have any big glaring errors tonight. I haven't caught any so far as I've gone through everything. So we're going to start out talking about what we cut. And I've got both sizes right there for you to look at. And there's a lot of squares getting cut in this one. I'm having to stop and think for a minute because yesterday, I started working on next week's samples. So I've got two sets of blocks running through my head right now. So I've got to think about what we're doing and what we're cutting. So we're cutting 2 strips of fabric, which are going to be the same size. And you pick the size for which size block you want. But one is your background color and one is a contrast color. So you cut those strips and then you're going to cut squares. So we're going to cut 4 squares that are the background color, and we're going to cut 4 squares of other colors. Now in the sample tonight, I just did 2 colors. If you look on that piece right there, I used 4 different colors. Each square was a different color. I don't suggest you just doing one color because you'll end up with the center just one solid piece. So, either 2 colors or 4 colors of squares. So I use 2 colors, 2 of each color is what we're doing tonight. And in that one, it's 1 of each color because there's 4 different colors. Okay? So the first thing we're going to look at tonight are making these little, here we are with all these triangle shapes in the center. Okay, so how are we going to make those triangles? We already discussed we don't like making triangles. We don't like cutting triangles. So you're going to take your background blocks and you're going to draw the diagonal line on all of them. All 4 of them. And you're going to take your other 4 squares that you have, put your right sides together, but we're not going to do what we did last time for our other stuff. Remember last time we were stitching right on the line, right? It's not what we're doing this time. That wouldn't work. What we're going to do this time is we're going to stitch 1/4 of an inch from the line on this side and 1/4 of an inch on the line from the other side. So you're going to have 2 rows of stitching. Okay? 1/4 inch from the diagonal line on each side. And when you get that done, you're going to take your scissors or your rotary cutter and you're just going to cut on the line. Okay, so now you've got 2 pieces. There's this side and there's that side. So 2 pieces, and you open it up, and there you have your triangles. Okay? Everybody with me on that part? You're going to stitch on both sides of your line and then cut on the line. Okay? So now we want to figure out how to put that center part together. What we're going to have at that point is a bunch of little pieces like this, Yeah, we'll actually come up with 8 pieces from doing that. So we've got all of these. And all of these. Okay, so we want to put our centerpiece together. Let's do that. We're going to put those 2 right here and those 2 right here, and that's going to make your center. Okay? So now you're going to stitch right down that. So here we are, right here. We've got it all stitched together, and then we're just going to open that up. And just like we've done the other weeks, then you can flip this down and do your stitching across here, 1/4 inch. And when you've done that, then you've actually got your center block put together. There's the center of your block. Okay? So that's the center, and these are going to be, I'm going to take some of this down here. We've got those 4 pieces left, and we've got those 2 pieces left. And we're not going to do anything else to these right now because those are going to be the 4 outside corners of the block. Let's kind of set the block here how it's going to be. I'm going to put this here. And so we've got that part of the block already made just by doing those triangles. So now we have to make our little section with the contrast there. And what those are little 4-patch blocks. But we're going to take these 2 strips that we've cut, and we're going to put those right sides together and just stitch down one edge. So here we've got one that's stitched. So when you open it up, okay, you've got 2 of them stitched together like that. I feel like I'm standing right in front of you.
But that's okay. I'm kind of visualizing it.
Okay. Now at this point, I like to press this before I do anything else with it. So I press that seam towards the darker color. Do it right then before you start cutting, because then you only have to press 1 piece. If you do it after you've cut this, then you have to press each separate piece along the way. So it's much easier if you press it first. Now, we want to make these into 4 patches, and all we've got is a strip right now. Whatever the width of your starting strip was, so if you're doing the 9-inch block, it's 1 5/8 inch wide. If you're doing the 12-inch block, the strips are 2 inches wide. So whatever the beginning width of your strip was, now you're going to take your ruler and you're going to cut this way on it. Okay? So this one was 1 what did I say? 1 5/8. So I'm going to take my ruler, measure 1 5/8, cut, 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 cut. So now we're going to come up with these little pieces that are like this. Okay? So now we've got, here we are. We've cut several of those. We want to make those into 4-patch blocks. And what we're going to do is just flip this over like this. And now you've got a 4-patch block. So now, again, our little deal where you flip it down and stitch the seam. And there we are. But it doesn't take just 1 4-patch on each edge. If you look at the block, here's a 4-patch, here's a 4-patch, here's a 4-patch, and here's a 4-patch. So it takes 8 4-patch blocks to go in here. So you make those 8 blocks from this, and then you put them together in this arrangement. And probably our tendency would not necessarily be to put them this way. We would probably normally, when we're thinking about, we'd have the contrast, contrast, and then we'd put contrast, contrast. But here we're putting two of the contrasts together. So you want to make 4 sections like this, one for each side of the block. So now what you're going to do is come in here and put these 4 sections right here. What a difference that makes, just putting that contrast color in there. And see how you can just follow it around? Okay. So remember that as you do this contrast, the two that are together are going to be on the outside edges of the block. And when you get this all put together, I mean, the way the background just all kind of flows in there, and then you really see your design of that block. Okay? So once you get to this point, it's going to be just like the other weeks, the way we folded them over, fold it over, fold it over, stitch your 1/4 inch seam here. Then do the same with this, so that you've got all 4 of them. Then you're going to flip them down and flip them down and do those seams. Now, are there any questions on this basic block? Everybody thinks they have it? Okay.
I'll watch the video.
You'll watch the video. It's a good idea. That's what the video is there, to take you, you know, you get to have the directions right there, and yet I don't have to be at each of your houses while you're doing it.
You don't have to stay up late to help us words.
I don't have to do any of that. Okay, we're going to take a break from this right now.